Hello everybody, Tyron the God 3 here. Welcome back to Dragon Ball Super Reviews. Today we'll be doing the review of episode 87, Hunt the Poachers, Goku and 17's United Front. First off, I apologize, I am a freaking week late for this review, and I do apologize for that. I have a little bit of things to go through life, yeah, and I'm sorry for making this excuse, but I gotta tell you, and this is a disclaimer, well, not a disclaimer, but I'm telling you this as of right now. After this week, I want to say about after this week, that won't be an issue anymore, because as you all have known from my talks with the others, if you watch my channel frequently, you'll know that I have been in college for a long amount of time. And when I was in college, you know, I got a lot of things situated and I was able to graduate. However, this week has been full because unlike most schools, my school doesn't have the ceremony until a full school year has passed. So I was unable to walk during the winter when I actually graduated. And I'm actually walking this week, well, the week that's coming up. So that is when I walk. And because of that, after that, I will officially be done. And I had to make preparations for that. But yeah, I'll officially be done. But with that, all that personal life out of the way, I want to go ahead and say that this episode right here was fun. It was exciting, and the reason I say it was really good was mostly because they could have just given us one Android 17 episode and had him join immediately and been done with it. But from what I see, Dragon Ball Super is actually putting in a lot of effort to develop these characters, and they're doing a really good job of it. And I'm sorry to say, and I might make a separate video on this, but it's been 4 sagas, and I think this is the saga that's finally actually getting the formula of what Dragon Ball Z is about, or at least Dragon Ball is about. It's actually becoming something that's entertaining, and from the beautiful ending theme that I've seen, plus the boogie back theme, it's so good, plus that combined with the aesthetics of the episode that we've been seeing so far, the art style changes, Dragon Ball Super is actually looking up. These are actually becoming episodes that I can rewatch simply because I want to now, and not just because I got to do a review of them for the channel. And so, with that being said, let's get into the summary. The episode basically begins where these guys from space, they want all of these animals, and they want the animals so that they can sell for food and, things like that, money. Because they do that, Goku and Android 17 end up instant transmission into the ship, and they end up taking out a lot of the guards. After they end up taking out the guards, they end up meeting the main guy who's in charge of all of this. Android 17 ends up fighting him, and they actually do end up playing the theme song that plays for Android 17. Android 17 has his own theme song now. It's the song that plays when they showed the promotion video for Android 17. So that was a pretty good, that was a nice touch. I gotta say it was a nice touch. Granted, the soldiers weren't that powerful, but Goku and them flew through them as quickly as possible. They were able to get the guy to surrender because he was about to blow up, and then Goku took him to King Kai's planet again, threatening King Kai's planet again. But this time it seems that the guy was bluffing, so they were able to get all the animals back. Jocko came in and took all the credit, but that's fine. And then after that, Android 17 reveals that he wants to get a boat. So he actually does want a lot of money so that he can afford to get a boat so that him and his family can actually go out and see the world. Pretty nice dream. So he decides to go ahead and join Goku's team and have Trunks and Goten watch over the forest for, the time that the tournament is taking place. After that, the episode pretty much ends. This episode, like I said, does a really good job of just being here. Yes, I know that the soldiers that they ended up having to fight weren't that powerful within themselves. It was a quick way to just get through a lot of the characters and, develop 17 and Goku more, but I'm glad they took the effort to do it. Goku and 17 never met before, so to have them only meet for one episode and that be it, that would have been a bit of a insult to us as fans, to only see Goku and 17 together for one meeting rather than have these 2 episodes. And I gotta say, this episode, while it was a basic Z Fighters go on full frontal attack on a bunch of weak soldiers type deal, it was good in the sense that it developed 17 and Goku more, because of moments like 17 risking his own life in order to save the entire rainforest by crashing out of the spaceship and being into mid-space where he couldn't breathe. I thought that was a nice touch personally. So yeah, good job developing these episodes. Good job actually taking time, and Dragon Ball Super taking its time and slowly pacing these until the tournament starts. That way it's not just a rush through. So kudos on that. My gripe, the threat is not that threatening. Granted, I didn't expect this to be a huge threat within itself, but the soldiers themselves were pretty much pathetic to the point where 17 and Goku were playing with these guys. They weren't fighting seriously at all. They didn't need to. In fact, the soldier threat was so minuscule, it was barely registered as a threat. Just the animals being in space was more of a threat than what was actually going on. So yeah, I see why they needed to be that way, just to develop Goku and 17 a little bit more, but just having the soldiers be that weak is a little disappointing, just considering the situation at hand. Overall, like I said, the episode is really good. I'm actually fairly impressed with how they were able to develop 17 a little bit more and take him more beyond the step of just being, hey, this character is from Dragon Ball Z, let's throw him into Dragon Ball Super, like they did with Trunks. And honestly, I gotta say that Trunks' entire saga feels less developed for his character than these 2 episodes were for Android 17, simply because these weren't jamming the fact that they're bringing a character back into our throats. It felt like it was something that was natural. It felt like, hey, 17's back, but it's not forced down our throats that he's back. In fact, 17 will focus on being back was just something that happened to happen in the episode. It didn't feel like they had to do so much in order to make him be important again, except for raise his power to exponential levels. But that's mostly because at this point I've accepted it as, Toriyama can't scale characters that were gone for a long time and try to, there's no way to write a character back to be up to speed rather than to just say, hey, they trained a lot. Which I honestly gotta say, Goku was holding back, and at this point I'm just accepting that 17's utilizing the fact that he doesn't run out of energy to his advantage. So he can probably raise his power up even higher because of that. But regardless, at that point I might make another video focusing on that topic. So with that said, overall, good episode to link in with the other episode, and it was just great to see that 17 is actually getting focused. And it was good to see these characters and them taking the time to be focused in Dragon Ball Super rather than just them rushing in like they've been doing with the other sagas. So the next episode I will be reviewing tomorrow to get that episode out there as well. That episode is 88, Gohan and Piccolo, Teacher and Pupil Clash and Max Training. So with that said, I'll see you all then, everybody. Tyrone the God 3 out.